Welcome to Work It, a show about work. This is a work of satire containing mature themes. Pour le service en français, appuyez sur le 1. For writer and performer Sam Alamang, please press 2. For writer and performer Janet Mowat, please press 3. For a measured and insightful discussion of this option is unavailable. For a comedic look at the cannabis industry, though of course, drugs are no laughing matter, please, don't do drugs, and stay on the line.
Welcome to episode 26, where we're tackling the cannabis business. I bet you're expecting me to crack a bunch of stupid weed jokes, aren't you? Well, you're just gonna have to keep waiting. Enjoy the show. Hey man, the new issue of High Times is in stores now, man.
Featuring 2019's sickest bongs. High Times magazine has just been acquired by Forbes magazine and brought under editorial control.
Sorry man, Sorry, where were we?
The new issue of High Times is available on Kindle now.
We ask Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella how he balances record-setting profits with getting totally baked.
We rank the newest strains with Federal Reserve Chair Alan Greenspan.
A hilarious classic interview with Cheech and Chong and Milton Friedman.
And don't miss our cover story.
An investigative report on what would happen if you took all the money on Wall Street and rolled it into the world's fattest blunt. Welcome back to Investigative Reports. I'm Greg Dawson. In this next segment, our own Sharon Gerber examines the legalization of cannabis. What will it mean for Canada? Sharon has the answers.
With the recent legalization of recreational cannabis in Canada, the question on everyone's lips is, what will happen to this once great nation? I asked members of the public to weigh in. Excuse me, what do you think of marijuana being legal in Canada now? I think it's sick. And let's ask your son here the same question.
I think it's sick.
Sir, what do you think will happen now that cannabis is legal?
Well, I think it's troubling indeed. I mean, what's next? Selling liquor on Sundays? Sodomy? Universal suffrage? Where will it end?
Actually, all those things are also legal.
Oh, ye gods!
Sir, how do you feel about cannabis being legal?
Cannibals are legal now? Hot dog!
No, cannabis. Sir? I said Ow!
Yummy.
Yes, clearly the people of Canada have grave misgivings. But is this skepticism founded? For an expert opinion, I spoke to Dr. Wilson Beckett, professor of economy at the University of Waterloo.
Hello!
But his answers were too boring.
Oh.
So instead, here's a dramatic reenactment of one of the many ways in which cannabis legalization can go horribly wrong.
Okay, kids, you're under arrest.
What for, mister?
Playing ball hockey on city streets? Let me get the child-size handcuffs here.
We're not causing trouble. Why don't you go stop real bad guys?
Well, kid, ever since pot was legalized, we're running out of small-time drug dealers to arrest.
Gotta terrorize someone, after all.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you have the right to remain silent. I'll put a booster seat in the car here for you.
Yes, we really are looking at the end of our society. Back to you, Greg.
Sharon, you're fired. That's all we have time for, folks, but tune in next week when Sharon's replacement will ask, how much spray on tan is too much? You dance the night away to 20 disco hits. You roll down your window to Racism and Trucks, the best of country music.
And now, KL Records is proud to present its new line of albums, The Cannabis Collection, songs for the stoner who's getting into trouble.
In 1975, Peter Tosh of the Wailers released Legalize It, an album advocating for decriminalization of cannabis.
And now, with cannabis decriminalization becoming more and more normalized, Peter Tosh is back with his bold new album.
Legalize It 2, Human Hunting for Sport.
That's right, folks, Peter Tosh is bringing the same political energy that he brought to the legalization of cannabis to his other passion.
The opportunity to hunt and kill human beings for sport. It's the most dangerous game, and Peter Tosh wants to sing about it.
If you love songs like Why Must I Cry and Catchy Shooby, you won't want to miss this album featuring
I Want to Hunt Humans for Sport.
Locked, Loaded, and Hunting Humans.
And What You Gonna Do, brackets, When I Hunt You for Sport.
That's right, folks. Peter Tosh is back with Legalize It Too.
Human Hunting for Sport.
Is cannabis being legalized in your area soon? That means trouble in the workplace. Are your workers getting high? Now that marijuana is becoming freely available, there will be an immediate spike in the number of employees working under the influence. Just think of the consequences. Here's Sally. She's diligent and hardworking.
Here are the minutes from this morning's meeting, Mr. Gable.
Great work, Sally. Now mix me a cocktail.
Sure thing, sir.
But what happens when Sally becomes addicted to marijuana?
Oh.
Sally? Sally? Sally!
Yeah?
Where the hell are those minutes?
I tried, but they started talking to me. They're my friends now, see?
Jeez Louise, mix me a cocktail, would ya?
Who needs the harmless, inoffensive taste of alcohol when you've got cannabis? Here, try my roach, sir.
Yes, as soon as one employee begins to smoke the Mary Jane, soon the whole office will fall under its nefarious grip.
Let's hotbox your office.
Wowee, cannabis is great!
Experts agree. Once cannabis is legal, your place of work will spiral out of control.
Boss, I'm forming a band. Want to join?
We can be called Corporal Toad and the Rainbow Explosion.
Productivity will drop.
Hello, you've reached Gable Solutions, Inc. We can't come to the phone because we're at a rock and roll music festival.
Hurry up, Sally, I'm flying high!
Coming!
And your whole workplace will suffer.
Folks, the office will be closed again tomorrow. There's a big anti-war protest. It's gonna be far out.
But what about these reports, sir?
The world is falling apart and you're worried about reports? What are you, some kind of narc?
What can you do to protect your office against legal cannabis?
The magic is gone, man.
The high makes me feel too much, like Mother Earth is crying out in pain.
There's only one thing you can do. Wait it out until cocaine is legalized.
Wowie zowie!
Gee, I can do anything now.
Starting today, 20-hour workdays, every day. All of you, get to work!
Hooray! Let's do this!
Thanks, cocaine. You've done it again. Do not listen to Work It.
KHEL Records is proud to present another album from its brand new series, The Cannabis Collection.
We all know about psychedelic rock.
We know about psychedelic jazz.
Heck, there's even psychedelic hip-hop.
Strap in for a new frontier in psychedelic recording.
KHEL Records is pleased to present Hotbox, spelled B-A-C-H-S, like the composer.
Hotbox, spelled B-A-C-H-S like the composer, is the world's first album of psychedelic classical.
Your face will be melted, your brain will be baroquin, with this trippy collection from Johann S.
We've taken some boring old classical
Run it through a fuzz box.
and overdubbed the sounds of major bong hits.
Whoa, dude, this Johann Sebastian Bach cat is way groovy.
Mondo Concerto.
That's Hotbox, spelled B-A-C-H-S like the composer. New from KHEL Records.
Happy Wednesday, Janet, or should I say Weeds Day?
It's Friday, Sam.
Why is it Weeds Day, you ask? I'm holding in my hand our brand new legal cannabis license.
OMG, but I heard those are hard to get.
Not really, I just bribed the premier with a drawing of him and He-Man hanging out at the mall.
I guess that's the advantage to having elected officials who are corrupt and incredibly stupid.
Hooray!
Well, what are you waiting for? Let's ditch this campus radio bunkum and get into honest work.
Narcotics.
Janet, how can we in good conscience endorse a product that we don't ourselves use?
You're right. I mean, Beyonce wouldn't have done that $50 million Pepsi partnership if she didn't believe it was truly the finest in sugary sludge water.
What do you say, Janet? Want to sample the product?
Damn right I do. Hang on, there isn't any Pepsi in this, is there?
Ugh, no, don't be disgusting.
Alright, pass it here. Here you go!
Right on.
Well?
I don't feel any.
Whoa! I'm having a vision of Work It being podcasted from all the stars in the cosmos. And our number one fan is God. And he comments on all our YouTube videos saying, "Great scene, guys," and "This show is a revelation." And when he's first, he writes "first," and we're like, "Hey, God," and he's like, "Guess I was here in the beginning." And the cosmos thrums with the sound of our scene about the immature self-checkout machine. And extraterrestrials are drawn to Earth by the chance to be Sam and Janet from Work It. And we sign a wraparound deal with Mars's biggest production studio to develop it into a film and spin-off series of anal probes. Intergalactic harmony is achieved when all sentient life gets to hear caveman entrepreneurs from episode 10. Work It is a force for good.
I don't know, man. I'm tripping out, man. I see an immense tower of seared flesh, and on top of it are the Pod Save America bros. What's that, Johns? They're saying they cast judgment over all podcasts condemned to damnation, and we're the worst they've seen yet. They send us to the podcast mines to dig for content. Here's a small scrap of premise. Max Headroom goes on a date. Oh no, is that all that's down here? Bitcoin coin collector. Yikes! Donald Trump complaint desk. Dear God, that's SNL level. Will we never escape? Are we cursed to crank out middling pablum as the pod bros cackle from on high? Work It is a force for evil, man.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Let's sell this shit.
Cha-ching!
Hey folks, we're super excited to tell you about our new dispensary.
It's a well-known fact that the decriminalization of cannabis has largely rewarded wealthy white entrepreneurs.
While doing precious little to invest in the poor and minority communities that its criminalization did irreparable harm to.
Our new dispensary is built on one simple response to that fact.
Cool! At Cracker Grass Crackers, we've built a dispensary for the blazing Caucasian.
We don't see ourselves as a dispensary. We're more of an artisanal weed pop-up boutique.
2 years ago, cannabis was the disgusting, immoral currency of thugs and reprobates.
But that's all changed now that people like us can make a buck off it. Now it's good.
When we do it, at least.
And that's not all.
Be sure to check out our cannabis leaf tea towels.
Our ganja spice lattes.
And selection of fresh vinyl like Michael Bublé's reggae album.
You're a phone star.
So come on down to Cracker Grass Crackers.
Where you can smoke a joint without being thrown in the joint.
Because we live under white supremacy.
Don't harsh my buzz, Caitlin. Justice isn't groovy. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the keynote panel of Cannabiz Conference 2019. The industry experts joining me tonight represent nearly 3 years of experience in Cannabizness and 96% of Cannabiz revenue. First, we have Tracy Smith, Instagram influencer and CEO of Mary Jane's Boutique, a bespoke cannabis vendor for millennials with taste.
Hi.
Next to Tracy is Stacy Pitt, YouTube influencer and CEO of Mary Jane's Closet, a bespoke cannabis vendor for millennials with taste.
Hi.
And finally, we have Macy Finn, Snapchat influencer and CEO of Mary Jane's Stash, a bespoke cannabis vendor for millennials with taste.
Hi.
Now Tracy, Stacy, Macy. The three of you represent the biggest names in the booming cannabis market. My first question is, what's your secret? Tracy?
I think I have grit. You know, it's not easy to build a cannabis empire starting from nothing at all. Millions in capital from my parents helped a bit, obviously.
Inspiring. Stacy, how about you?
I'm Macy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Macy.
My answer is the same as Tracy's.
And how about you, Stacy?
The same as Stacy and Tracy. Oh my god, I mean Macy and Tracy. I'm Stacy.
Wow, insightful. Okay, let's turn to you, Stacy.
I'm Tracy.
I'm so sorry to you, Stacy.
I'm Macy.
Oh, don't tell me.
I'm Stacy.
Of course. In your recent Vogue profile, they said of you, blonde, fair, and cute as a button, Stacy Pitt isn't your stereotypical weed dealer.
Yes, that's right.
And in fact, Tracy and Macy, your InStyle and People magazine profiles use the exact same terms to describe you.
Yes, that's right.
What do you think they meant by that?
Well, I think they meant that.
Oh, one at a time, please. Tracy?
Macy.
Macy?
Well, I think they meant that the legalization of cannabis across most of North America has opened the doors for us to diversify the industry. Diversify the industry. Diversify the industry.
Stacy, anything to add?
Tracy, conveniently, drug dealers who don't look like us are all still locked up in prison for minor offenses, so that's really opened the doors for us to diversify the industry. Diversify the industry. Diversify the industry.
So my last question is for all three of you. What do you see as the future of cannabis retail?
Diversify the industry. Diversify the industry. Diversify the industry.
All right, and can you clarify that? Stacy? Wait, which one of you is Stacy?
We are all Stacy. We are all Stacy. We are one. We are all Stacy. We are one.
Okay, but the one whose name is Stacy?
Oh, that's me. More drug dealers will look like us. Look like us. Look like us.
Great, and Macy, the drug dealers who don't look like you will...
They'll rot in prison. Rot in prison. Rot in prison.
Okay, well, wrapping up.
Rot in prison. Look like us.
Diversify the industry.
Rot in prison. Look like us. Rot in prison. Look like us.
Diversify the industry.
Well, it's been a compelling discussion happening here.
Adore us.
Yeah, that's definitely all we have time for tonight. Let's give Tracy, Stacy, and Macy a big round of applause.
Adore us.
Cahill Records is proud to present another album from its brand new series, The Cannabis Collection.
His solo debut, The Chronic, was one of the most important hip-hop albums of all time.
And a stoner classic.
Dr. Dre is back with another slice of gritty realness.
At 54 years old, Dr. Dre presents The Chronic Back Pain.
This important new album asks the question, what if West Coast flow met sciatica?
With guest verses from Snoop Dogg on the importance of stretching,
Warren G on making sure to stand up at least once an hour if you're working at a desk,
and Peter Tosh on human hunting for sport.
hey, a callback!
The Chronic Back Pain is the only album featuring the Tupac hologram rapping about how the best part of being a hologram is you don't have back pain.
Anyway, this gag isn't really about cannabis at all, so we're gonna end it now.
Bye-bye. See you next scene.
You're listening to WORM Boomer Radio, The Worm.
That was Corporal Toad and the Rainbow Explosion with Peppermint Dashiki. You're tuned into Worst Generation, the #1 show for boomers. This is Fart Winslow. I'll be taking your calls. Tonight's topic is drugs. Line 1, you're on the air.
Yeah, I want to complain about this decriminalization of cannabis.
Complain away, boomer.
Oh, sure, I might have smoked a little Mary Jane now and then. And sure, by now and then, I might mean continuously from 1965 to 1981.
Do you have a point, boomer?
My point is, Fart, now that I'm old and tired, it should be illegal for young people to enjoy themselves.
Great point, boomer. We now go to Seattle on line 2.
I'm absolutely horrified at the state of the kids today, Fart.
Why is that, boomer?
I was just watching the No Snowflake Zone on Nazi News Network, where I get my honest and open reporting. Have you heard of these things called raves?
Sounds awful, boomer. Tell us more.
Well, apparently the young people get together and take drugs and dance and have sex. I can only assume it's some kind of satanic ritual. There's no other possible explanation. The TV told me so.
Simply terrifying, boomer. Thanks for your call. Stony Creek on line 3. You're on Worst Generation.
These kids today smoke their legal cannabis and hang out on college campuses, and you know what I call it, Fart?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say political correctness run amok.
Political correctness run amok, that's what I call it. They protest for specific measures to keep Earth habitable, snowflakes. They are mobilizing against poverty, bigotry, and injustice in a way we never did. Babies.
It's sickening when you get right down to it.
Oh, sure, when I was their age, I was protesting
discussing the Vietnam War, but now that it doesn't affect me personally, maybe a few war crimes are what's needed.
Couldn't agree more, Boomer. Now that you're nearly dead, why not take everyone else with you? It's just common sense. We have time for one more line for your own worst generation.
I've taken acid every day since Woodstock, and it hasn't done me any harm. I run a major bank, and my pants live in a dragon.
Absolutely right, Boomer.
Snowflakes!
Absolutely right, Boomer. Sure. Our generational rampage of gluttony, hedonism, and selfishness may have left the world nearly uninhabitable. The point is, kids today who are cleaning up our mess are just so damn smug about it.
Snowflakes!
Thanks for your call. And now it's time for Fart's final thoughts. Cannabis decriminalization is just the latest example of the problem with millennials. They smoke the wacky tobacco and start getting crazy notions like taking real action to bring about progressive change. It's out of control. Pass out in a muddy field while listening to Country Joe and the Fish. That's how we did drugs in my day, and we turned out fine. That's it for today, folks. I'm Fart Winslow, and you are the worst generation. And now for weather. Everything's simultaneously on fire and flooded. But you're doing great.
Welcome back to Roadblocks 2019. This is the second annual event allotting cannabis retail licenses here in sweltering Toronto, Ontario. Tom, how do you think this year's lottery compares with 2018?
Well, Linda, last year's lottery was one for the ages. Ontario Premier Doug Ford distributed only 25 licenses to sell legal cannabis here in Canada's most populous province.
And that truly was chaotic and terribly run, wasn't it, Tom?
Absolutely. There were over 17,000 expressions of interest for these licenses. Winners were chosen at random, and they had 5 days to turn in an application and a $50,000 letter of credit.
And of course, many of the winners had zero industry experience.
Yes, 2018 was a great year for the forces of arbitrary and unreasonable bureaucracy.
Well, this year there are 50 licenses for cannabis vendors on the line, and the province has really stepped up the roadblocks for interested parties.
That's right, Linda. So far today we've seen the hot dog eating contest, the Super Mario World Race, 96 exits, and the swimsuit competition. Those events really pared down the field.
And the remaining 500 competitors are just getting into place now for the final event, the no-holds-barred Battle Royale to the death. Talk us through what we're seeing here, Tom.
Well, Linda, Tina and Tammy of Weed Girls with a Z have brought their longswords for this.
Yes, I'm curious to see how they'll do against Randy from I Want You, I Weed You, who's looking to crush the competition, literally, with his steamroller.
And of course, don't discount the Smith family from Smith's Discount Cannabis Wholesale. I'll tell you this, they spared no expense on those flamethrowers.
Okay, the competitors are getting into place. Premier Ford is going to say a few words.
We just want to make sure everyone prospers and grows, and it's not a huge burden.
And they're off.
The folks from Marijuana Hold Your Hand are off to a great start with those chainsaws.
Max from Max's Roach is putting his black belt in karate to good use.
Ooh, but Shirley from High and Dry just phased Max out of existence using her mysterious powers.
Yes, there was some controversy about genetically superior mutants being allowed into the competition this year.
Speaking of controversy, many have wondered if wealthier competitors would have an unfair advantage. I think we're about to get our answer.
Right you are, Linda, as here comes billionaire playboy Philman Lancaster III in his F-15 Eagle.
Wow, and what a plug for his weed business, Flying High.
Well, so long as those surface-to-air missiles from the guy at Weed 'em Out don't ruin his chances.
Well, folks, night is falling here in Toronto, and the competitors are seeking shelter till sunrise.
It looks like we've got 241 remaining. Remember, we're weeding the competition down to 50 survivors.
Weeding, I like it.
Right? I didn't even intend it.
Do you think they'll get any rest tonight, Tom?
Doubtful, Linda. Once they survive this absolute bloodbath, cannabis retailers will have to immediately present the Premier with their completed application.
Yes, including a large non-refundable fee, a letter of credit for tens of thousands of dollars, and a colossal gold statue of the Premier.
It sounds like our competitors are in for a long night of paperwork and smelting.
That's it for today, folks. Join us tomorrow for the thrilling conclusion of Roadblocks 2019. Bad Doctor.
All right, everyone, I've gotten some heat for how easy I've made it to get a medical marijuana prescription. From now on, you better have a legitimate ailment if you hope to get your legal weed from me. All right, who's first? What seems to be the matter? Dislocated, haircut? Fine, here you go. Next.
Skeleton rash.
Good. Next. Imbalanced humors. Next.
Disco fever.
Next.
He's a very bad doctor.
Dishonorable discharge. All right, next.
Sneezy knees disease.
Very silly. Next. My bro has tuberculosis, and my sis has tuberculobro. Next.
The crops are barren and the gods demand a sacrifice.
Wait a minute.
Of, weed.
All right, very good. Well, if that's everybody, I'm going golfing. Ta!
A truly terrible doctor. I tried to warn you.
Experiment log. Test group 8's results are fascinating. I think we're onto something here.
Hello there, Dr.
Studebaker. Dr. Heinrich Studebaker.
Well, Dr. Studebaker, the board asked me to come down here to the research department to find out what exactly, you've been working on for McCowan Investments?
It's really quite something. I'm replicating the famous NASA experiment on spiders, yeah?
Oh, the one where they gave them a variety of drugs to observe the effects on web building?
Exactly. Perfectly reproduced here, except on our employees.
Sorry, what now?
Observe, here we have 2 interns from the social media team. Their burritos were laced with marijuana.
So that's why we've been broadcasting Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz together on Facebook Live.
Genau, and here 2 of your entry-level workers have been given tremendous doses of caffeine.
They look normal to me.
Yes, we were unable to find a control group. It turns out all workers under late capitalism are fully caffeinated at all times. Helps them cope.
Good, good. Keep them on their toes, I say.
Over here, 2 more of your workers have been given Benzedrine. You know, pharmaceutical amphetamine.
What's happened?
They love it. Apparently, it gives them what caffeine no longer can. Absolutely terrifying heart rates.
Fantastic. Sounds great for productivity.
Yes, unfortunately, released in the wild, they immediately crowd the local Starbucks begging for a grande bold with cream and bennies.
And over here?
This group themselves was given chlorohydrate, a hypnotic drug. When placed in front of a computer, they were happy to click around on the screen, even for days at a time. Cut off from reality, they've lost all communication skills, all signs of life.
Okay, perfect. We could use some more data analysts. But tell me, Doctor, what have you learned? I mean, what's the point? What's the fundamental truth that you've discovered in the course of your research?
Ah, yes. You see, after a lengthy and rigorous process, I have arrived at the following conclusions, which I'm sure you'll find undeniably correct.
I'm all ears, Doc.
Here goes. Work sucks and people are dumb, so drugs are good, 'cause then you're stoned.
Dr. Studebaker was awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine and the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Bored all weekend? Need to get out of the city? Well, pile the kids in the car and head down to Grandpa Jim's family weed farm. We've got fun and games that everyone will love. Try or pick your own bud and pay by the bushel. Do your kids love arts and crafts? Check out our Roll Your Own tent. Want to spend some quality time in the grown-ups only den? Let our mascots, Skunky and Roach, keep the kids entertained.
Here at Grandpa Jim's family weed farm, we've been in this business for over 75 years. Yes, 3 generations of hardened criminals in and out of prison, hiding in the shadows. And now, in my twilight years, you tell me we're legitimate after all? Well, fine. Isn't this fun? We all get to smoke the ganja out in the open now. You people make me sick.
Yes, for a folksy down-home family experience, get out of the city and visit Grandpa Jim's family weed farm. Children strongly discouraged from attending.
There it is, folks, episode 26 in the can. Don't bogart your follows. Pass one our way at @WorkItPod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Smell you later, Moondoggy.
Hey, don't you know there's a place where you can always go for news and updates on CFMU and Hamilton too. 93.3 CFMU on Twitter. 93.3 CFMU on Twitter. for more news on the shows and events you love.